All right.
Hi there. Welcome to Key 103. We are teaching you how to do a basic haircut. I'm Dina Carole. This is my subject, my willing subject, Danny. She's in charge of all of our promotions here at the station, giving you all sorts of fun things to win and events that we do. Now, this event is how to do a basic haircut. So I am a licensed cosmetologist, by the way. I just wanted to make sure you knew that. I don't practice for money anymore. Now I just do freebies. So, okay, so basically what you're going to do is going to have your subject matter. If you don't have a cape, which most of you don't, a towel will do. A sheet is even better because it doesn't then bunch up. Or just have somebody wear a t-shirt that they don't care if it gets kind of, hair clippings on it. I actually like to wear something. This material is very helpful because what it does is then the hair clippings just kind of fall off. If you're calling me right now, I can't get it. I'm so sorry.
We're busy.
We're busy Facebook Live and the phone's ringing.
Phone's
Hi,
ringing.
how are you? I'm so sorry. But you can comment on this Facebook Live if you want. If you have any questions along the way, certain things that you have, certain things like certain hair types or whatever, happy to help out. Okay, so now what Danny did, now she has very curly hair. Sometimes what I'll do with curly hair is cut it dry so that I can see kind of the bounce. She's already committed to not disowning me as a friend.
Not disowning.
And a coworker if it's shorter than
I've already, yeah, it's all good.
It's all good. So we're going to take a comb and we'll just kind of, you've already taken the knot. Oh, wow, it's nice. Okay, so she got all the knots out for me. That's sometimes half the battle, is getting the knots out. So the one thing you want to do is you want to ask your person that you're cutting the hair, what are we doing today? How can we make this look beautiful for you as we're in stay-at-home quarantine and you can't get your regular hairdresser? What is it that we're looking to do today?
Just trim.
Just a trim. So we're just taking off the dead ends here.
Yep.
All right. Oops.
Oh, great.
You don't want to trim. So what you're going to do is you're going to section the hair off. So you're going to find the crown and you're going to go right down to the ear. We're going to do 4 sections. That typically makes it easier to then do the haircut. Wow, you're really calling. I'm so sorry. And then you're going to twist it up. If you don't have these handy dandy clips, which you probably won't, you can use bobby pins, anything else that can kind of help do that. So I'm making 4 sections. I'm going to show
flip me around.
Yep, that's fine.
Me if you want.
Thank you. Oh, and it's so nice to have the person who's cutting your hair that they're giving you things. Now, typically when I do a haircut, I don't do 4 sections, but since we're training you how to do it, I'm going to do it the very, very basics. It's easier to have 4 sections. When you stare at a full head of hair, it can be very overwhelming. Like you can get, what we used to call it in hairdressing school was you get lost in the haircut. You're like, oh, I don't know where I am. And then the person comes out looking really goofy.
Nice.
So we don't want to get lost
Excellent.
in the haircut. Okay, so now we've got our 4 sections. What I'll do is I'll then go back.
Ignore my roots. Color goes on Friday.
Friday, there we go. So I'll take one of the back sections and I'll just take a little bit off the bottom. I'll use a comb to section it off and then I'll put it back up. Again, this is taking way longer than what I would typically do a haircut because I want you to do it right and I want to give you more information is better. You can kind of take off what you want, what you don't want to do as far as the how-to with your own personal preference.
Our sales manager is calling me right now.
Oh no, Larry, we're doing a haircut.
Happy birthday, Larry.
Oh, happy birthday.
I'll call you after.
Yep. Okay, so I'm just gonna rotate Danny a little bit. So now what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna, because it can get chilly, I'm just gonna wet section. You can get spray bottles are easy to find. Oops, sorry, that's a stream. I'll just pelt you with it. We don't want to do that. We want it to be more of a spray as opposed to a stream. And I just wet what I need. Oh, you do need a haircut. Yep, it's definitely looking a little straggly.
That is a little straggly.
Okay, get my handy dandy scissors. Again, they do sell hair scissors. You can get them at Walmart. I recommend to be 3.5 to 4 inches. They have different lengths, and the 3.5 to 4 inches is typically the most manageable. So in order to, I'm left-handed, so you're going to use your finger next to your pinky, whatever one that is. I guess that's your ring finger. And then your thumb goes in the other hole. and you're going to go, see, hello, isn't that nice? Your comb is going to go the other hand. And so basically, so you have, and then you rest by you take your thumb out and you hold the scissor like this. And that's how you hold the scissor until you're ready to cut, and then you have your comb. So I'm going to comb it down. I'm going to start in the middle. I'm going to turn this a little bit so you can see. So I'm going to start in the middle of Danny's hair. And we have a shop vac. Although I can get this garbage can. Hold on, I'm going to switch around here. And I can put those droppings right into the garbage can. Oops, Daisy. Sorry about that. Okay, so I'm going to put the garbage can right underneath her. Sorry, you just saw my eyeball, everybody. Combing the hair, bringing it down. You can see how thin it is towards the bottom. I don't know if you can see that. We're going to take all that off, all that straggly off. We're just going to take that off.
This is good because someone tried to thin out.
Oh, they definitely did.
Out. Yeah, that's why I'm just trying to get it all back to
normal.
normal.
So here's the thing. When you've got real curly hair, a lot of hairdressers will go right to the thinning. That's not necessarily good. So thinning only works when hair is actually thick, meaning the strand itself is very thick. That's when you want to thin out the hair and it just gets a little bit, otherwise it ends up looking straggly if you don't have strands that are actually thick enough. That's the difference between thick hair and a lot of hair, if that makes sense to you. So we started in the middle. So now since I'm lefty, I went middle, left to right. You can do any order you want. I suggest you going in the middle. And basically what you're going to do is just make a straight line. Okay? And just bring it down. You're going to pull the hair down and then make a little straight line. So now after I've done this underneath, this is my bottom layer, I'm going to take the two ends, I don't know if you can see that, and I'm going to pull them out, and you can see, oh, look at that. They're even. Perfect. So now this becomes my baseline. The rest of the haircut is going to go off this baseline. If you have your baseline even, the rest of the haircut is an A+. So then you'll be good. Just want to make sure. Getting any other little stragglies. Looking good. If you have any questions, feel free to give us a shout out. Awesome. So now we've got our basic line. Hi, Lisa. Thank you for watching. And Jane, thank you for watching. No matter what, it'll grow back. So have fun. So true. Oh, should I do something daring? Just kidding. She can't see.
She can. I'm fine with it.
No, I know. She is a good sport. So, by the way, what I like to do is take these little clips and I just hook them onto my shirt. So now I'm going to do another thin layer. Okay, I'm going to take more section out, put this back up. And then I'm going to do the same thing on this side. Put this back up. So you have, those of you who are watching, have any of you attempted to do a home haircut while you've been in the stay-at-home order? Just curious. And if you've had any success, or if you've just kind of went, even with the kiddos, have you done it with your kids? Because I know some kids can be really particular, but who's going to see them? They're at home. They're not in school. I guess you could see them virtually. Okay, so here's our next layer. Again, I am going to wet down so we don't, although I used warm water in our bottle, we won't freeze her out. So, not sure if you heard the last break that we did this morning on the Dina Carole Show, but we were talking about how some workers are considered essential as far as getting their haircuts done. So what's, by the way, not everybody is. So that bottom layer, when you hold the next layer, you'll be able to see the bottom layer peeking through, and there is our guide again. So we use that initial layer, and now we're just going to use that, and everything measures up to that. Ta-da! Hi, Heather. Hi, Lori. Good morning. Okay. This is great. And I did lower the music because Facebook doesn't realize that Key 103 is a radio station necessarily, and there's all these licensing rights, and then our Facebook Live would get flagged. Okay. So again, I started in the middle, and then I went left to right. You can go right to left. I happen to be left-handed, so that's how I do it. And again, so then we're going to bring it. So you always want to bring your end pieces and you want to bring them to the middle and see if they match up. And if they do, you're good. And I always go back and I double check because I'm a little bit of a perfectionist, which works in Danny's favor.
Guys, gotta let me know how it's going over there.
Yes.
Can't see. Oh wait, I have my little
You
mirror.
do have the mirror. Here, do you want your mirror?
I got it.
Don't drop the mirror. We'll get
Well,
bad
yeah,
luck.
Don't
Goodness
need any more bad luck.
gracious.
Hey, Facebook land, I can see you.
Oh, fun. Can you see the comments backwards?
Well, I can see them. I can't read them.
Oh, that's
I
true.
don't have like bionic eyes.
Yes, you do. Are you kidding me? What am I kidding you about, Lori? Not sure what that meant, that comment.
Yeah.
Hopefully it's a good comment.
Probably, are you kidding me that they kick us off of Facebook because
Oh, right. Yes, we're not kidding, sadly.
yeah.
Anyway, so like I was saying earlier, so the last break we talked about how in the state of Maryland, you now have to have a note in order to get your hair cut that your employer is saying
Requiring it. Yeah.
it's required to do your job.
I mean,
Essential job. I'm not sure that is. I mean, do like grocery stores have some certain guidelines? I don't
well, I
think
mean,
so.
I get,
Maybe some
I
doctors.
mean, hair,
I don't
hair
know. It's
things
odd.
used to be, I think, like we used to say guys' shirt can't hang over their collar.
Right.
Or,
Good
you know,
point, yeah.
whatever. But,
That stuff's
I
gone by
mean,
the
only
wayside.
like military and stuff now, I would imagine, has
Oh,
restrictions.
And we are in your Fort Detrick. That's
Yeah,
true.
so
That's
they
true.
would probably.
So yeah, so if you're an essential employee and you are going to be getting your hair cut because you have a note, I'm curious to see what profession you're in. So we kind of know
Yeah.
what that's like. Okay, so we're again just doing another layer. Now, how comfortable you are with the person that you're cutting their hair or what you're doing. You can take bigger sections, smaller sections. I've never cut Danny's hair before, so I'm kind of going with the smaller. Oh, I'm really doing a stream here. I don't know why it keeps doing that. Oh, pelting her back
Might
of
be
her
so-
head. You can really take an eye out with this. Becomes a weapon. Anyway, and curlier hair, by the way, is a little bit more difficult to cut because when it springs up, you're not quite sure how short you're going. But we're being a little bit conservative. And then we have another layer that we're doing, again, using that bottom layer as a guide in order to create everything being even and easy. So it's easier when you do that because then you don't have to, it's like easier to do the rest of your haircut. It's not like doing the haircut all over again. Otherwise, if you take too big a chunks and you can't see the under layer through, it's like you're cutting it for the first time again. So here we are. I'm going to pick up the pace a little bit. If you have any questions, feel free to shout out. If you have any suggestions for Cup of Joy, if you want to send them, you could always do that and email it to me, Dina@key103radio.com. If you have any ideas for Weekend Worthy, that's when we, especially since we're at home, you can certainly send ideas for that, for things that you're doing, that you're spending time with your family, and some ideas that you can do virtually. Would love that.
And definitely, Dina, tell them Cup of Joy is any, like if you find a cool Facebook group that's helping local businesses or cool story of stuff people are doing during this stay-at-home order.
Absolutely.
And
if you're doing something, we want to give you acknowledgement, shout you out. If your business is doing something, we want everybody to know. We want to be bragging about that. Hi, Lynn. What about military personnel? Yeah, we were kind of talking about that. I think you're spot on. I think that's exactly who is probably going to be needing the essential haircuts, and they'll have the easier time getting a letter. Because then it's like you've got to get the letter, and that becomes a little bit, just a little bit more of a hardship when we're already kind of in a hardship.
yeah.
And then I'm sure the problem that we've found through people who are reporting as far as salon owners, I know a friend of mine is a salon owner, and she said it's really costing her more money to stay open to just do a few haircuts here and there, and so that becomes a problem.
Yeah.
So then I don't know, are you allowed to go to their house? I don't know. All these different regulations that And you have to be careful because obviously nobody wants to get in trouble. You would hope that they'd be a little bit lenient as we try and figure out how to navigate through everything. So now we've just let down our last layer in the back in order to give her her line. And then I'm going to teach you how to do some layering too. Okay, so again, we want to start in the middle, bring everything down. Just a little bit that we're taking off this last layer, getting all the stragglies out. And I would imagine when we do layering for Danny's hair, since they thinned it out, that we're going to see the same thing. So with the layer, when they thin out hair, they sometimes, I don't know if they used a razor or what they used for yours, Danny, or thinning shears.
Thinning shears.
Okay,
yeah.
Thinning shears. So basically what that does is it's taking, I have thinning shears and I'm going to show you what they look like and what they do and how you just have to be real careful when you do that you're doing it on hair that is indeed thick, where that means that the individual strand is thick as opposed to just having a lot of hair. Okay, so we've got our baseline. So let me show you what thinning shears are. Thinning shears are, I don't know if you can see that, they have teeth on one end and a blade on the other. So basically what that's doing when I'm doing this, it's taking out every other hair. So it makes it straggly if you don't have thick hair, for lack of a better word. So we're not going to use that, but I wanted to bring them along because I had not done Danny's hair before. So I wasn't sure if she had a lot of hair, thick hair, thin hair, and she just has a lot of hair. See how much better that looks? Do you see how that's giving you that line that you need? So that's all right. So we've got our baseline. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go back to the middle. I always start in the middle. I'm going to take a section. I'm going to bring it up. This is where you kind of have to turn your body to the side, comb the hair. Ooh, sorry, is that hurting you?
Not at all.
Okay. I'm going to bring it out. And do you see how there's a few pieces that are like, ooh, what am I doing here? I'm just kind of straggling. I'm just going to take those off because those are obviously a product of when she had her hair thin and she doesn't want to have that anymore. So we're going to go ahead and even that up and just bring it to the line. So when you do a layer, by bringing it out to the side like this, you're automatically giving you the graduated edge of holding it down. So now when you do a fancier haircut, you can create different lines. And so I don't know if you've seen some haircuts where they look a little bit stacked.
Yeah.
That's all about how you hold the angle. Haircuts are all about angles. So if you were really good with geometry, which I was, that's the one thing. Geometry is different than numbers. It's all about angles. So you can hold your hair either this way or this way, creating different angles, and that's how you stack the hair. But we're just doing straight out because we're just doing a basic haircut. We're just getting the little stragglies off. And then we're just gonna go around the entire head like that. Again, just getting those stragglies off. We're not doing a different style. I'm just teaching you a basic haircut. If you have any questions, feel free to shout out and we'll try and answer them as best as we can. I forgot to take my rings off. It's easier to cut hair when you don't have rings on because the scissor sometimes clunks into the ring. Again, just bringing that out, and you're bringing it out straight out from the head. So if I'm going to bring it this way or bring it this way, that's also changing my angle. I want to bring it straight out from the section of the hair that I'm pulling, and that way it gives you the even look that you need all the way around. Bringing this out again. So now I'm moving on this section of the head. And so I'm bringing this out again. See those stragglies? They're wrapping around my finger. We're just going to take those off.
Can we turn a little bit?
No, you're good.
Yeah.
And then I'll do one more over here. I'm bringing this out, straight out from the head again, not changing my angle. That looks good. Here, behind the ear. Oh. There we go.
So I think what most people are missing by not getting haircuts is the gossip that goes on during
Well,
the hair.
Good
At
point.
the salon.
Good point. Yeah, what's the good dirt?
Yeah.
Come on, Danny, give us some good
Gotta
dirt.
have some good dirt. Let me think.
Well, we know Alanis Morissette is doing something called unschooling.
Oh, yeah.
You can take whatever you want from that. Yeah. She claims it's not a free-for-all.
However, you allow your child to direct
exactly
what they want to learn. How do they know what they want to learn if they don't know it yet? That's my question.
Not being all logical.
My kids would be like, everything I need is on YouTube and Netflix.
Right? Hey, I think that we should watch a movie. Oh,
yeah,
okay.
Exactly.
Okay, so now what I'm going to do, see this top layer in the crown? I'm going to take my comb and take this top layer section. So what I'm going to do is section this off. And then I'm going to hold it straight up. Just kind of see how we're looking. This might go out of view. Yeah, it will. But I'm just holding it straight up, and I'm making a straight line, just clipping off some of those little flyaways. And then I'm going to take those two ends, and I'm going to pull it straight out. We're looking good. Just want to make sure that we were still in line with what we were trying to do, making sure that everything's kind of lining up. Again, take those little flyaways. Okay, so the back of her hair, and then the other thing you want to do is just kind of ruffle it up a little bit, especially with curly hair, and see how it's laying. Sorry, I didn't mean to wonky back of the head. Look how much nicer that is. We got away all the dead ends, just kind of perks it up a little bit. Thank you, Catherine, for watching. Appreciate that. Okay. Oh my gosh, this is great, Danny. I love it. Okay, I love her hair anyway, her curly hair. Don't you just want to have curly hair? I love curly hair. I try and make mine curly, and I scrunch it to death. Okay, so now we've got the back. So then how do you connect the back to the sides? All right, so the ear becomes the most important part. You don't want to cut the ear. So,
yeah, let's not. No blood.
Did I ever? All right, this was when I was young. I had just gotten my license, and I was dating a guy who cheated on me. You should never, ever, ever cheat on your hairdresser and have her find out about it. And I accidentally, clipped his ear. Just a little bit. I didn't like take any off. I just kind of nicked it a little. But he was like, "Did you just cut my ear?" I said, "Maybe." Yeah. Okay. I was
vengeful haircut.
I was 18. I had just gotten my license, and he had just plucked my last nerve. I was like, "Okay, we're done with that." So yeah, don't cheat on your hairdresser while she has. Don't let her find out while she has scissors. That's for sure.
Yeah.
And if she does find out, change hairdressers. Okay. Can't believe I just said that on Facebook Live.
Either.
I'm a nice person.
You are a nice person.
I know. See, that's how bad it was.
Yeah,
like
it
was definitely bad for me to do something like that. Oh
yeah.
boy.
This is the juicy stuff you get when you go to the hair salon.
That's so true. See, I just want to make sure you have a real experience.
Yeah.
Okay, so now what I'm doing is I'm taking the back, and I'm taking that section that we had on the side. Remember, we sectioned her hair off. I'm connecting the two by creating our baseline. Now, because the side of her hair is thinner, I don't have to do the sections like we did in the back. I can take the whole chunk and bring it down and just kind of make sure that we've got our baseline. And we do. And the lighting's very important. Lighting in here is good, which is nice. So I'm just looking to see what they did here, Danny. All right, so it looks like they angled her a little bit. I'm going to take just a smidge of those stragglies off to go in line with her angle, but not really create an angle because we're doing more of a straight look. Okay. All right, so now I've connected my side to my back. I'm going to pull it down and just make sure that we're all straight. Especially with curly hair, there's sometimes there's ones that hide underneath. So just make sure you check it 2 or 3 times that nothing's kind of hiding underneath that layer. Okay, so now just like we did in the back, I'm going to come here again. So now I'm taking a part of the back section with just a smidge of the side section to blend my layers back to front. I'm always working back to front with a basic haircut. Now when you do a little bit more different styles, sometimes you want to work front to back, but we're not going to go there. We're just going to learn a basic haircut. Again, I'm bringing it out to the side. I'm just taking some of those little stragglies off, not a lot, just a little bit, because she just wants a trim. Now, if one of the other people in our office that's essential is willing to demonstrate a boy's haircut, a man's haircut, then maybe we'll do that too. It's basically the same thing, but what you have to do is get your line. So if you're doing a man's haircut, you want to always trim around the ear first. Do your cutout around the ear, as I like to say. Be very careful. I don't recommend, even if you don't like the person, clipping their ear. It's not good. But you do your cutout of your ears first. You do the back. You do that basic line all the way around, and then you go back in and do your layering. Or you could just do a clipper cut. So a clipper cut, the higher the number, the longer the hair is. And you can see that by looking at the guard. You definitely want to use a guard, because if you don't, you'll make them bald. You don't want to use clippers without the guide unless you're just doing the outline. Okay, so now what I've done is I've blended my back to the side. And that's what we did. So I'm going to turn her a smidge this way. And we're going to do the same thing to this side. So see how I have my clip here? I'm going to go ahead and take that down. I'm going to wet her hair down again. I don't know why this keeps going back to a mad stream. It's like weird. Is it hurting?
No.
Okay. Well, it's just water, but you know. Well, and my daughter has really a sensitive scalp. Some people have really sensitive scalps, and so you just have to be mindful of that when you're combing and all that kind of stuff. So again, I'm going to take the back and the side together, pull it down, and I can see where my line is, and I'm just connecting the two. Like, oh, look at that. Easy enough. And one word of caution, so you're not like, wait a minute, it seems like I'm cutting way more off this side than the other side. Go back and double check. But the other thing is, most people have hair that grows longer on one side than the other. Same story, like you'll have one foot that's a little bit bigger, one arm that's a little bit longer. Same with your hair. Your hair doesn't grow necessarily symmetrical, so I don't want you to be concerned if you're like, oh, I feel like I took a ½ an inch off more off the one side. As long as when you go back to check it, it all measures up, you're in good shape. Which I'm going to do right now before I start. Yeah, see her. Wow, interesting. This side is definitely longer on Danny for whatever reason. Huh. And it starts, let's see here. Yeah, it starts right about there. Okay. So again, connecting the back to the front, just pulling everything out. Have you noticed that, Danny, that your hair one side feels longer than the other? Or not really? Okay. No. Well, with curly hair, it's definitely harder to tell. Something like that. All right.
So hopefully everybody out there is doing well.
Yes.
Staying in.
Yes.
Let us know how you're doing and
what you're doing. You know, sometimes people. Actually, I'm supposed to have my second guitar lesson, but I think I'm going to be canceling because I don't think I'm not.
She's bowing out because of the challenge I put to her.
No, because of my shoulder.
Uh-huh.
They recommend it because the way you hold the guitar does stress out the shoulder a little bit. So they recommend me having a little bit of physical therapy under my belt before I go back to getting my guitar lessons. So.
I'm going to bring in a recorder. She's going to have to learn on that.
Oh, I used to do that when I was a kid. Do you remember those?
We all did,
yes. Do they mandate that anymore in school?
Yeah, the kids still learn too. I think it's
interesting.
4th grade.
Okay.
Fourth grade in Frederick County, they all learn to play the recorder.
Yeah.
I think it is.
Yeah, I remember that as a kid playing that.
Oh, yeah. I remember the kids practicing.
Oh, oh yes, a parent's dream.
Yeah.
Right. And you're like, please make it stop. I can't take anymore. Okay, so now that we've completely finished the haircut, we go back and check it. So now what I'm going to do is face Danny towards me. And I'm going to take, it's
a spinny chair.
So I'm going to go to the top of her crown, take my 2 fingers, and then come right down, right behind your ears. I'm going to take the hair and bring it out to the side. And this is where you have to kind of do a visual check and just kind of see. You can use the shoulder as a template to kind of measure. Yeah, we're pretty good. This side is still just a little bit longer. I was a little bit hesitant to keep cutting, but it still is just a smidge. So if you can see, hi Heather, the hair on low on the back of my head grows more slowly. Yeah. I get you. Okay, so we're gonna go back and just trim up this side. So for Danny, her right side, are you right-handed, Danny?
Yeah.
Okay, so this is just something that we've learned in hairdresser world. Whatever hand dominant you are, that's typically the side of your hair that grows a little bit faster.
Hey, never knew that.
Yep. Did you also know that your hair is made up of carbon, oxygen, hydrogen, and nitrogen? Those are the things, the elements that are made up in your hair. Blonde hair has the additional element of sulfur.
Did not know any of that.
See? There's a lot of chemistry involved when it comes to hair cutting, especially when it comes to hair coloring.
Yes.
That's not something I enjoy, so I always leave the hair coloring to those, because there are people that in the field love to do that, and they're experts, and it's like a science project to them, and they love to mix different things, and a little bit of this, a little bit of that, and I just nope. No thank you. But I love to do haircuts, and I love to do, when I was in a salon, I used to love to do updos and different styles, and but creative haircuts, oh man, if I had somebody say to me, just do what you want, I would look at the shape of their face, and I would just say, oh, you know what, this would, because there are different haircuts that will help accentuate certain features depending on what you're trying to highlight. So if somebody has, a pointy chin that they don't like, well, you can do more of a bob, and that rounds out the fullness. So what that does, I'm going to turn Danny here. So Danny doesn't have a pointy chin, but for someone who has like a pointy chin, so if you've got this going on, so what would then balance that if you have something more like this? Do you see what that does? It already makes Danny's face look fuller, because what you're doing is you're creating a line this way. So that will take away from that point, because then visually you're filling out here. So if that's helpful. If somebody has a longer face and they like that about them, longer hair is better, because maybe they want a long, slender look. It just depends on what you're trying to do. So
I want to take 25 pounds off you. Look. How about that?
Oh, man.
Is there a haircut for that?
I would go back to hairdressing if I could find that. Okay, so then what I'm going to do is now I'm going to take my hands and I'm just going to kind of tousle her hair around. So now what I'm checking to see is if all of the layering is falling into place, and it looks like it is. And you can see, wow, this looks so much better. It's amazing what just getting the dead ends off does. So hold your mirror, Miss Danny, and tell me what you think.
Love it.
Does that feel good to you?
It does.
Do you see that difference of
how it's... I do, especially in here.
Yeah.
And I feel it back here.
Yeah. And didn't take a whole lot off. Some places it was like really, really long.
Oh, yeah, not bad. Yeah.
Strands. So I don't know if you can see this. So if you can see, this was one of the areas where she had some of the thinning out. Well, this was just like this random straggly piece. It was making her hair look... what's the word I'm looking for?
Scraggly?
Yes.
She keeps saying scraggly.
Yeah, sorry. I know that sounds cruel, but it does tend to look straggly if you don't, manage that well. So there you are. If you have any other questions, is there anything you can... Aw, you're so sweet.
She's the best.
Yeah, I love science too, as long as I'm not the one who's having to create it. I like science as long as it's just kind of little bit. The carbon, oxygen, hydrogen, nitrogen, I can handle that. The hair on the... Okay, yeah, I got that one. Anyway, yeah, awesome. So that's it. So we have done our haircut. If you have any questions regarding this or anything, you can always reach out to me via email, dina@key103radio.com. Feel free to call us now, whoever you were calling before.
We can now answer.
We can now answer 620-1031. So much fun. I love that you hang out with us and we get to hang out with you, and we will talk in the morning. Bye.